This is Little Hands Creations instructional video on how to thread our Singer heavy-duty sewing machines. Typically in all of our classes we use white thread, but for these purposes so that you can see us a little bit better, I am going to be using some brighter colors. So first thing that you're going to want to do is get your spool of thread and get it so that the thread is coming across and down the top like it's flowing off of a waterfall. You are going to take that spool of thread and put it on this spindle right here. Inside your sewing machine, in your accessory case, you should have a pin pillow, which we hang right there, and a thread stopper. So your thread stopper is going to go on the spindle to hold your spool of thread in place. The really nice thing about these sewing machines is that everything is numbered. I'm going to tilt the sewing machine so you can see it a little bit better. So you should be able to see that this hook right here has a number 1 next to it. Along with this hook has a number 2 going straight down. We've got number 3 right there. Number 4 is a U-turn. Number 5 is around our bunny, going from right to left. And then number 6 is through our needle. So I'm going to walk us through that. Taking your thread, kind of like you're flossing your teeth. So 2 fingers on either side with about 1 inch in the middle, we're going to go through hook number 1. From the side, hook number 1 looks like that. So you have to get your thread underneath it and caught right there. So that's kind of why we hold our thread like we're flossing our teeth. We bring our thread to the back side of hook number 1 and pull it towards us. You can hear it click into place. Number 2 just means that we are going to go around the second hook, bring our thread over to the left-hand side, and then go straight down. Number 3 has us following this slit straight down. Number 4 is a U-turn. And then number 5 is the most important, going around the bunny. So you want to start on the right-hand side, go around behind the bunny to the left-hand side, and then pull your thread so that you can see your thread go into the eye of the bunny. We want it right there in that hole. The next step is probably the most difficult, where we need to put our thread through our needle. In this situation, I'm going to take the needle out so that you can kind of see what you're aiming for. In each of our needles, there is, maybe I can get it to focus, one tiny hole right there in the needle, and the hole goes from front to back. So you aren't trying to thread your needle from side to side, just front to back. Put the needle back in, tighten it up. I don't encourage you to do that. There are a few tips and tricks now to threading your needle. One of them is lowering your presser foot. That just gives you a little bit of extra space to work with. The other thing that's really handy is to have your sewing machine on, because then you have that extra light. But what would happen if you were trying to thread your sewing machine and you accidentally step on your pedal? That would be a terrible situation. So one thing that we can do is engage the bobbin winder on our sewing machine. If you move this dial over to the right, it engages the bobbin winder and unengages the needle. So now if you were to press on the pedal, all that's happening is that bobbin winder is spinning. The needle is not moving. That's just an extra safety precaution for if you're going to thread your needle with your sewing machine on. The next thing that you're going to want to do is cut the end of your thread. You want to make sure that there are no extra fibers, that it isn't fuzzy on the end. You're going to want to cut it. You're going to want to lick it. I won't put that on camera. That just gets all the fibers moving in the same direction. And then you're going to want to hold your thread really short. You want to make sure that it's not too long. If your thread was all the way out here and you were trying to thread your needle, that makes it really floppy and hard to navigate. So you're going to want to hold it as close as you can to the end of your thread. And then you're going to push your thread through the needle. And when you see it come out the other side, you're going to swoop with your other finger, catch it back there, grab it between your finger and your thumb, and pull it straight through. I want to make sure that it all goes through all the holes When you got that done, lift up your presser foot, put your thread back behind your sewing machine. You're then going to want to re-engage your machine. And as an extra bonus, I covered this in a separate video, but we'll go ahead and put our bobbin in. Normally for our machine sewing classes, we have these great cardboard pre-wound bobbins, but just for color contrast, I'm using this plastic one with a, it's a denim thread in there. So to get my bobbin in and threaded, I'm going to pull this switch to the right. It's going to pop up my bobbin cover. You can see on the bobbin cover that it shows you that the thread needs to be coming off of the bobbin in a counterclockwise direction. So I have my bobbin oriented that way. I'm going to pop my bobbin into the casing, and then I'm going to find that small little slit in the bobbin casing, the silver part, and I'm going to pull my bobbin thread over to the left. So now my bobbin thread is going around the bobbin, into the casing, through there and out on this side. The next thing that I need to do is get my bobbin thread up. So I am going to grab my top thread, hold onto it with just a teeny tiny bit of tension, use my hand crank to go all the way down and all the way back up. You can see that the red thread just picked it up, and now I'm going to pull until I see that orange loop. Here's the orange loop. I'm going to pull that up. I'm going to get both of my threads underneath my needle, back behind my sewing machine, and then I will pop my bobbin cover plate back on, and your machine is ready to party.